Hi guys, my name is Marie Sheridan and this is my video lecture for the favorite adaptation presentation project. So for this assignment, I did decide to cater it so that it would be a little bit more specific towards my grade level and content area, which is 8th grade science. However, the neat thing about this adaptation is that it can essentially be used at any grade level within any content area. So just a little background on response cards. So it was mentioned in the Johns textbook. So research has shown that by utilizing this adaptation, it not only reduces student disruptions, but it's a way to get students to be more actively engaged within the classroom. And as a result of this, not only are you increasing student participation levels and holding all students accountable, research has also shown that by using this adaptation, it has led to higher performance on student assessments. Although response cards can come in multiple forms, for example, a whiteboard, it could be a clicker, it could be a ticket, so picture a green, yellow, red ticket. The one that I did decide to focus on for this assignment was student whiteboards, so this is something that I have used in my class and I do so frequently. So I'll just talk a little bit about how I use this adaptation and then just other suggestions for using it. So of course, we all are probably familiar with what a whiteboard is. So it's nice if your classroom, or let's say your department, purchases a set of student whiteboards. You can hopefully pass it out to each student. And the idea behind it is that during a lecture, the teacher is going to pose a question or a set of questions to their students, and then the students are then required to either write their work or write out their answer on the whiteboard and then to show their answers. So there's several reasons why I really like this adaptation. So here are just a couple of reasons, but the main one, as I mentioned, is accountability. So I know as a science teacher during a lecture, I have students who are very willing to participate, but then those who are maybe a little bit more on the shy side. So this is really just a way to get everyone to be accountable, and especially for you as a teacher, it's a good check for understanding, seeing, am I ready to move on with the class, or is this something that I need to spend a little bit more time on? Again, it's just a better way to engage the students. Often they really like using the whiteboards. And one huge thing for me that I've noticed is just the differentiation aspect. So if I'm walking around the classroom, I have all my students raising their whiteboard, I can quickly see what percentage of the class is understanding and who are those few kids that are maybe having trouble that I have to pull aside later on and just do a little bit more practice with. So in the science classroom, again, this is the content that I teach. I teach 8th grade general science. Just a couple of ways in which I've used it is during a lecture. So there were a set of problems that the students had to solve and they got increasingly more difficult. So I put the question up, the students wrote their work, and then I would say, okay, on the count of 3, show me your board. They hold their board up. And again, it just is a good way for me to get quick feedback and for every student to be participating. Another way that you can use it, so within the 8th grade science curriculum, there's a lot of graphing. So one way I've used it is for them to illustrate what maybe a distance time graph or speed time graph would look like if I were describing some type of scenario. And then of course, the review game, which is just a really fun way when you're getting ready to conclude a unit and you want to just do some form of review game. Students can work in groups where each group gets one whiteboard and they work together to answer the review questions and then hold it up, and it becomes a little fun competition. So those are just a few ways I do use it in the science classroom. But again, as mentioned previously, the neat thing about this adaptation is that it really can be used for any grade level and any subject area. And it doesn't necessarily need to be a whiteboard. It could be a clicker if your school has the ability to purchase that. It could be something as simple as raising a piece of paper. So here's just a picture. This is not my science classroom, but one that I did find on the internet. So you can see that they are showing their graphs in this picture. And that's ideally what it looks like. You want the kids to raise it at the same time. That way they're not rushing to change their answers. Just suggestions moving forward would just be, I gave a few examples as to how it can be, what it might look like in another content area. So for example, maybe you're a history teacher, geography teacher, you have a map of the United States up and you point to a state and you say, what's the capital of the state? They write their answer on the board. Or maybe you're practicing spelling within an English class, within a language class such as Spanish, and you're just testing them to see if they understand the spelling. And then, of course, within this presentation, I have mentioned several other ideas as to what that response system can look like. So clickers being a common one, popsicle sticks, this or that is a game. So you might have a question up on the board, and then the students have to choose to go to one side or another. So really, it's just we're incorporating motion, we're getting them more actively engaged, and really the students do like when they can have that alternate form of participation that's not just sitting and raising your hand. So it's a really neat adaptation. If you have any further questions about it or would like to reach out to me about it, please feel free to do so. Thank you.